Palma. Oh,
man.
that's unfair, man. Palma, 7 points in the game.
To Del Fuentes.
Delgado makes the shot and knocks it down. Malonia is open. 3-point.
My goodness! Isang jumper by Robin Celis.
Caballero has time.
He just posterized Miles
From 30 teams, we are down to our final 20, and after almost 7 months of action, we finally unveiled the play-in tournament in the 7th season of the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. 4 teams from each division look to lock in the last few slots available in the playoffs, and it all begins here at the Robert B. Estrella Senior Memorial Stadium dito po sa Rosales, Pangasinan. We have Rindel Yambing with his high-flying axe. We'll see what is made of as he looks to help his team avoid elimination going up against the returning Chito Jaime, who makes his return for the Pasig City, and he will go up against his home province as he tries to lead Pasig to go into another day of competition. That's our first game. Number 9 seed Bataan will go up against number 10 Pasig City, and in our main game, number 8 Ilagan Isabela makalaban ang Pangasinan Heatwaves. Magandang hapon mga kaliga, Ken Pangalinan with Javi Palanya at courtside. We have Miss Mika Abisamis. Javi, it's the first of its kind in Philippine basketball. What makes the play-in tournament so compelling and interesting?
Well, obviously, it will give us more games, which gives more excitement to our fans. And it gives teams at the bottom, yung 9 and 10 teams, an opportunity to crack the top 8. So it means that there will be chances for the teams who are not really able to do as well compared to the top 8 sa ating regular season to crack into the playoffs. So this means that there will be a second chance for these teams to actually make it and prove themselves yet again. This is the opportunity for them to say na, hey, we belong with the top teams.
And you're watching us live on the official MPBL YouTube channel and also live right now on pusop.com, and later on we'll be live on Solar Sports. Well, let's see our updated playoff bracket. 10 teams from each division. Javi, no? Magulo-gulo yung magiging play-in tournament natin, especially from both divisions.
Yeah, let's just explain what will happen here, no. So the winner of the 9 and 10 game will be facing the loser of the 7 and 8 matchup. So in the North's case, it will be the winner of Bataan versus Pasig facing the loser of Pangasinan versus Ilagan. The same will happen in the South, and after that, the winner of that game will be marked the 7th seed, and the loser will go on and take the 8th seed. So it's pretty complicated if you look at it from the bracket, but it will start to make sense once the games start to begin and also once the winners are already pronounced.
And that means for these two teams, one of them will be eliminated, unfortunately, in our competition. But with the One Bataan Risers, Ives Sazon, it hasn't been always pretty, especially percentage-wise. But another season, at least in double figures in scoring, he's been one of the catalysts here para dito sa One Bataan Risers.
Yeah, you're right. In terms of percentage, not really so good, but he's still been making a lot of shots in crucial situations, at yan naman ang importante. You see that the percentage is not really good para sa kanya, but he takes a lot of shots. Kaya naman yung percentage niya 35.7%. But it's still nice that he's averaging 10.5 points per game, as you mentioned, because in the crucial situations na aasahan pa rin naman ng Bataan itong si Ives Sazon. And of course, in these kinds of situations, you will look to a guy like Ives Sazon to make your plays in the end game and to have that ball in his hands and try to make the decisions that will matter the most.
And after missing the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, Ives Sazon and the rest of the One Bataan Risers will look to rectify that. But across his path is Jacob Galicia, who has bounced around in multiple teams but has finally found a home dito sa Pasig City. And despite being undersized, Javi, he's been really efficient around the rim and has been a source of strength inside the paint para dito sa Pasig.
And he has not only been impressive para sa kanyang mother squad, but other coaches I've talked to also around the league have been very impressed with Jacob Galicia, who in the past years has flown under the radar. But dito sa season na to para sa Pasig City. He has grown into a shot maker, being one of their leading scorers, averaging 10.4 points per game on a very efficient 57.5% from the field. And he has really risen to the occasion, lalo't-lalo na ang daming nawala sa tropang Pasig. He has made up for the lack of firepower, especially in the front line. And Pasig City is looking for Jacob to have another great game here today para maitawid ulit sila sa isa pang laro.
It's win or go home. The number 9 seed, the 1 Bataan Risers, will go up against the number 10 seed, Pasig City. Let's go to Richard Campos as he introduces their starting lineups.
Pacquiao's MPBL Season 7. Let's make way the starting lineups. Up first, the 1 Bataan Risers Kamaya Coast. Playing center, number 27, Chris Javier. Forward, number 23, Rinwil Yambing. Two guard, number 18, Tutoy Ramirez. Power forward, number 11, Rafi Octobre. And at point guard, number 1, Robbie Darang. The head coach is Goody Ilagan, assisted by Mac Tan with Ogie Gumatay, John Flores, F. Francisco, Arvin Ginto, Paul de la Cruz, Rene Baina, Prince Cruz, Louis Cortina, Marvin Molines, Erwin Lozara, and Councilor El Granada, Gary David. Assistant Team Manager, Shai Evangelista, Team Manager, Attorney Gary Palmero, Team Owner, Luis Valenzuela. And here's for the Pasig City. Playing center, number 29, Jacob Galicia. Two guard, number 1, Warlo Batak. Power forward, number 10, Mark Montuano. At guard, number 13, Aaron Morante. Forward, number 28, Chito Jaime. They are led by Aldrin Morante, assisted by J.R. Villanueva, Lance Inco, and Richard Rosales. The team owner is Mr. Buddy Encarnado. Our game officials are crew chief Jay Castroverde with Severino Pino.
1 Bataan Risers begin with Robbie Darang, Tutoy Ramirez, Chris Javier, Rafi Octobre, and Rinwil Yambing. Sa panig naman ng Pasig City, Aaron Morante, Warlo Batak, Jacob Galicia, Mark Montuano, and Chito Jaime. Our referees for this ball game are Jay Castroverde, Sev Pingol, and Karina Martin. Fourth referee is Leonardo Layosa. Bataan in white, Pasig City in blue, and the tip going to the 1 Bataan Risers.
Interesting here para kay Coach Aldrin Morante. He starts his son at point guard here for Pasig City, si Aaron Morante, in a very big game like this. Let's see how Aaron can match up to the situation going up against one of the top guards in the league in Robbie Darang.
And he did a good job that time of forcing Robbie Darang into a miss. That point guard spot has been a difficult situation for Pasig, with Robbie Manalang missing the last 2 to 3 months. And it hasn't been pretty for Pasig, but they've made amends, especially in their last 4 games. But Rinwil Yambing starts things off with a free. Nice sign for the 1 Bataan Risers.
Well, if you're talking about making up for lost time, Rinwil Yambing has certainly done so these past few games para sa Bataan Risers. His average has gone up in terms of scoring, and his overall impact on the game has been felt greatly by his squad going into this play-in tournament.
Jump ball. So, possession arrow pointing to Pasig. Yeah, Rinwil Yambing. We've often talked about this, how he and Mitchell Maynes, their development would probably determine how deep Bataan will go here in the play-in and hopefully in the playoffs.
Because if you're looking at Bataan, I've said this many times during the course of this season, if you're looking at Bataan from top to bottom, they're a very solid team. It just so happens that the gelling didn't really happen right away. It took them a while to figure things out as a whole, but individually, these guys are very talented. A lot of them have a lot of experience already here in the league. It was just a matter of getting it together on how they would perform as one unit, and it took different changes in their coaching staff with new coaches coming in, Coach Ogie having to take a step back. Let's see here, this was the foul on Chito Jaime. And going back to what I was saying, no, it's nice that Bataan was able to get things going latter part of the regular season just in time, because I'm sure hindi rin ito yung inasahan nilang mangyayari sa kanila sa dulo. But they have a chance right now, and I'm sure that they're gonna do everything that they can to get themselves one more game and one more chance to crack the top 8.
And they've proven to be one of the highly efficient teams here in the league. Number 3 in 2-point percentage, number 5 in overall field goal percentage, number 8 in 3-point percentage. And well, Chito Jaime got fouled while taking a free. Missed 6 games, their last 6 games. Although Pasig was able to rack up 4 straight wins to close out their elimination round, including those 2 big wins against Mindoro and Ilagan Isabela.
Certainly confidence boosting victories para sa kanila, and to not have Chito Jaime with them for those 2 victories certainly speaks a lot about the resilience of his other teammates. Wala na nga silang Robbie Manal, lang Keith Pido has also not been part of this team, and they lost Christian Rivera. Those are 3 solid guards sa kanilang point guard rotation. Lester Reyes was transferred to Basilan. So these are all very key players para sa kanila, but the other guys, it has given them the opportunity to step up to the occasion and prove to the other guys in this league that they too can be top players for this Pasig City squad. I'm talking about Warlo Batak and Jacob Galicia.
Batak makes his move, drops it inside to Mark Montuano, but he shuffled his feet. Traveling violation whistled against Pasig City.
Hindi niya agad na establish yung kanyang position, kaya na got outbalanced a bit.
Over 2 minutes gone by. Bataan with a 3-1 lead. Yambing opts to give it up to Robbie Darang, who can't hit the 3. Rebound controlled by Warlo Batak.
Nice way to get possession there for Pasig City. They cannot allow multiple possessions para dito sa Bataan.
And nice job of Rinwil Yambing to slide through and force Warlo Batak into an offensive foul.
Warlo Batak has to be careful with his foul situation in this game. Pasig cannot afford to have Warlo Batak on the bench for long periods of time.
Tutoy Ramirez on the left side. Robbie Darang popping at the corner. Yambing attempts his second free. That time no go. Octobre with an offensive rebound. Tutoy makes his move to the baseline. Throws it away. Pasig City, chance in transition. Batak lost it. Second turnover against Warlo Batak.
Warlo seems to be a little bit jittery here at the start of this game.
Yeah, it's his very first playoff appearance here in the MPBL.
And there's a lot of pressure, especially because he's now the top dog for this team. Imagine being a young guy in this kind of situation. Obviously, it will definitely give you a lot of nervousness. But this guy, I don't think he's nervous coming into this game. I think he's very excited actually coming in and playing his first game in almost a month.
Binasic lang ni Pachins dito.
Actually, more than a month. He's been out more than a month.
I think his last game was way back in August 12th. So almost 2 months. Sorry, July 30. LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL.
Well, that's almost 3 months actually.
Oh, more than 2 months. But he looks to be still in shape and in sync as Pasig City has taken the lead 4-3. Robbie Darang. Nice pass inside. Turning around was Chris Xavier, but ball was lost. It will stay though with Bataan with only 6 on their shot clock.
The thing that has kept Pasig in the thick of things for a spot in the North Division playoffs has been the resiliency on the defensive end. You could see the effort and you see the coordination brought about by constant talking on the floor that has been the recipe for success on the defensive end for Pasig City. Although they are undermanned, you could see that the effort is really there. They're really trying their best to close out on open shooters and rotating to open guys.
Hubert Cani comes in for Tutoy Ramirez. Very deep guard rotation for the Bataan Risers.
Contrasting to Pasig City na talagang naubusan sila ng gwardiya dun sa kanilang mga notable losses.
Sa poste ulit, same shot, different result. A miss this time from Chito Jaime. Robbie Darang. The pass to Ives Sazon. Bola na tapik palabas ni Chito Jaime.
Pasig City has been changing up their zone defense. Earlier it was a 2-3 zone. Now they're playing a 1-3-1. Trying to get Bataan off guard with their offensive sets in the half court.
Sazon about the same spot. Still a miss. Octobre with another rebound. Sazon, this time off the dribble, able to elude two defenders for the layup.
And that is why you cannot afford to give the Risers multiple possessions because they're so deep a team na ang dami nilang pwedeng puntahan. And off the offensive rebound, it's always a challenge for the defensive team to get back and set up their defense once again.
Mixer, great move of the game, born for greatness.
Also a nice court touch screen set there by Chris Javier, enabling Ives Sazon that open lane to the basket. After that, slick crossover.
Marlo Batak, a lot of milestones this season. Became a first-time All-Star, became a first-time dad. And well, he's unlocked certain aspects of his game, Avi, that we've never seen before at the beginning of the season.
You're right. Maybe the first time he came into the league, the first time we set our eyes upon him, makikita mo siguro, obviously the athleticism is there, but did you actually realize that he would be someone who could be the top player of a team here in the MPBL? I don't think a lot of people confirmed that kind of idea the first time they saw him, but he has really proven a lot of people wrong. And right now we're seeing a player flourishing into what has been an all-star season para sa kanya.
Sazon though, hitting that shot, Bataan opens up a 4-point lead, 8-4. Jaime, pass to Jacob Galicia, who puts it in.
That's the nice thing about this Pasig City team. Undermanned and all of the other odds stacked against them. But you could see the way that they play as a team is really impressive.
That's been their character ever since they joined the league. Always been the underdog, always finds a way, but they need to find a way of stopping the interior. Chris Javier, 2 points plus the foul.
Yan talaga ang advantage dito ng Bataan sa laro na to. They have obvious height advantage. Lots of tall guys on this squad. And they're not just big men. They're big men who can actually dominate. They're big men who can actually score inside. Chris Javier is one of them. Then you have JL Capulong coming off the bench. And Jamil Gabawan is also someone who can operate inside for the Risers. So lots of people to go to, and then you have a guy who could stretch the floor in Rafi Octobre. So different kinds of bigs in their rotation with different strengths. And you can also say the same for their guard rotation.
Alfred Flores now in for Bataan. Almost a steal from Ives Sazon. Gadin will go to the cup, but can't convert on the layup.
Pasig has had numerous baskets that have just bounced out, but they were actually good looks. For Pasig City, they have to be able to make the most out of those quality opportunities.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Just going back there to Ives Sazon, Robbie Darang does it, force the outside shot, gives it back to his shooter from the left flank.
Baseline inbound. They go to Chris Javier. Gives it up to Alfred Flores. Sazon using that Gabawan screen. Takes the free and makes it.
He's one of the streakiest shooters here in the league. Once he gets one to go, he's going to be tough to stop.
Always has the green light to shoot. Ives Sazon with 8 early points. 8 of the 14 for the One Bataan Risers. Susugod. Ito si Mark Pontuano who gets the friendly bounce.
He's been frustrated here in the first quarter. He feels like ang dami ng mga pito na hindi itinawag sa laro na to.
Chris Xavier. Did he travel? Yes, he did.
So far, I think the zone defense here, the changing zone defense of Pasig has been very effective in really trying to prevent Bataan from getting into the gaps. But this guy has been the zone buster in this game for the Risers. Nice move going down the lane right there for Mark Pontuano, changing to the left hand from the right. That's a good take.
Yep, Jess Kilatan with a strong drive using his left hand na ibaba ng Pasig sa apat ang lamang, 14-10.
Now, one guy who has quote-unquote benefited from the losses at the guard spots for Pasig City has been Jess Kilatan, somebody who has seen spot playing time over the course of the last 2 seasons with different teams. But because of those losses to Robbie Manalang, Keith Pido, and Christian Rivera, Jess Kilatan has played a lot more time than he has over the past 2 years.
Another white body coming in for Bataan with Lawrence Capulong. Alfred Flores airballs the 3-pointer. Felix Corpus, Pugadin. Now it's with Pontuano. As Pasig City tries to cut the lead further, but Kilatan's free off the mark. Hubert Cani playing backcourt duties together with Alfred Flores. Something that they did so well, Javi, in that win against Binyan. Hubert Cani with a layup.
Usually nga, pinapakawalan na nila Coach Mactan itong kombinasyon na to sa fourth quarter na. They don't usually pair Alfred and Hubert during the first 2 quarters.
Gadin with a nice hesitation, but could not complete the layup. Flores, stop and pop free. No good. Chito Jaime grabs the board. Kilatan will slow things down. Nice crossover move, momentarily eluding Alfred Flores. Chito Jaime straight away free. No good. No good. And a rebound by Jess Kilatan.
Yan rin naman ang di pwedeng hayaan rin ng Bataan. Yeah, they're the taller team here in this game. And allowing Pasig City those offensive rebounds is really not acceptable, especially in a game of this magnitude.
Hubert Cani putting on the moves. Basket and one.
Always has been one of the shiftiest guards here in the league. Look at that. Coming to a stop. And then that slight hesitation leading into that crossover to freeze his defender.
Acquired during the off-season, Hubert Cani. It took some time for him to find his rhythm here with Bataan, but has settled down, has scored the last 5 points, increasing the gap to 9 points, 19-10.
You know, Hubert is very much still in his prime. No, kasabayan ko lang naman to. And I feel like he has the tools to still be one of the dominant guards here in the league if just given the opportunity to do so.
4 points for Mark Pontuano. Sazon puts it up. Can't get that one to fall that time. Bad pass. Steal by Ives Sazon. Cani will not force it up. Instead, he goes down low to JL Capulong, who just took Jess Kilatan down low and scored.
That's just a conventional attack on the mismatch. Nothing much Jess Kilatan could have done there.
Travel. Pasig City down now by 9. A very important defensive stand here at the last 26.9 seconds. Mitchell Minus making his first appearance. They replace Alfred Flores. So much bigger lineup for Bataan to close out the first period. About a 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Gabawan to Ives Sazon. Wants a clear out against Felix Corpus. Gabawan offering that screen.
That's an offensive foul.
Yeah.
Poor screen set there by Jamil Gabawan. Had to use his arms to try and push off his defender to make space para kay Ives Sazon. Kitang-kita naman dito. Ayun.
Sinuwag niya dun si Felix Corpus.
Hard not to call that if you are our referees.
So nice stop. It prevents Bataan from increasing the gap to double digits. And now they have a chance to cut this even further. Gadin with a daredevil drive. Scores 2.
Daredevil is definitely the term for that, Ken. Attacking the teeth of the defense despite being heavily pressured already. But he got that slight step that allowed him to beat his defender and get himself a lane on the right side.
Ives Sazon got things going early. Had 8 early points here in the first quarter, Javi, and Bataan looks to be in sync coming out of the gates here in the first quarter.
Yeah, even coming off the bench, you have guys like Hubert Cani contributing right away. Mark Montuano trying to steady the ship for his squad in this game. It's going to take a lot more than just the usual effort for Pasig City to try and get themselves with a victory against Bataan today.
Back in Rosales, Pangasinan for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. My name is Mika Abisamis. Like everybody else in the play-in, of course, Bataan would like to still play after today. I mean, who would have thought that with a lineup like this, they would be at the bottom part of the standings, and Boss Goody Ilagan agrees. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2022, where there was actually one game they beat Pampanga then. But it is what it is. They are here now. They're lucky to have added components in their coaching staff like Coach Mactan that helped in unlocking potentials of their many offensive players, some of which lately were Hubert Cani, Rin William Bing, Maines, and Kapulong. Swerte din sila. They have Gary David during this challenging time. He shared na nasa Powerade daw siya. 8th seeded team sila nung panahon na yon, twice to beat ang BMEG at that time. And they won. Dun daw unang nagpakilala si El Granada at pinanganak siya. What a great story to share to the boys. Ken, Javi.
Nagliliyab yung mga kamay nun ni El Granada. I remember that game.
Oh boy, yeah. I watched that too.
I mean, that was one of the most intriguing games in the PBA.
I would say one of the most iconic as well.
Yeah. Si Hubert Cani puts in the fray. 10 lang lamang ng Bataan. I mean, beaming that time. We had a stack lineup. Art Pingris was there. James Yap. PJ Simon. But behind Gary David, boy, they were able to upset that team. Number 8 ka sila dun, no? And, it was a shootout, I remember. JV Casio, Lassiter were still there. And now he's trying to imbibe that here dito sa Bataan, who's now at number 9, trying to get out of the play. Fast Break the Game brought to you by Extreme X Pop Personal Karaoke Speaker. Everyday karaoke.
If there's one guy who knows about resilience on this Bataan squad, it's definitely El Granada, Gary David. And after that, you know, it just continued to rise para sa kanya, yung kanyang stock. He even made the national team, became a Gilas legend. And right now, the players that he has to coach on this Bataan squad, ang dami ring potential to be someone like him.
And they probably have the most members in their coaching staff.
Yes.
I mean, Coach Mactan became part of this team, like Mika mentioned to Patrice, some of their offensive concerns. And also, we shouldn't forget Coach John Flores,
Yes.
who was back in Season 5 with the coach, the late Ricky Dandan. He was the master in terms of him coordinating their defensive principles, Javi, and nagpabalik siya dito just in time for the play-in.
Yeah, they needed all hands on deck. So Coach Goody Ilagan, he just thought that it would be a good idea for these guys to come back.
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. And also, the last time, like Mika mentioned, that Bataan made the playoffs was back in 2022, Season 4. In fact, Mitchell Minus, JL Capulong, and Dom Vera were part of that Pampanga squad, which was the 4th seed, but got pushed to the limit by Bataan. It went the full route, 3 games, lahat yun. Digdikan yung naging laro. And it just so happened that Pampanga was able to hold them off at home.
That's the kind of spirit that this Bataan franchise has shown us throughout the years. They have been one of the model franchises here in the league. The culture that they have built, you know, having to make the most of what they have, never making any excuses for lack of talent, etc., stuff like that. But this year, you know, they try to really stack their roster, get some good pieces. And despite that, hindi pa rin maganda yung naging kalabasan na season nila. But they're not making excuses for any of that. Instead, they're here trying to make the most of their opportunity to get back into the playoffs.
And they're currently up by a dozen, 28-16. Mitchell Minus. Match up against Marlo Batak. Now it's with Capulong. Oh, nice pocket pass. Octobre, though, blows the gimme.
A lucky break right there for Pasig City. Those are 2 point-blank shots.
Batak has yet to get himself going here, but he'll now troop to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, that's a nice way to get his confidence in this game and to maybe have him settle down for a bit. Having that ball go through the net, seeing it will get his nerves to calm down and make him make better decisions with the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, hindi pa siya mabibigyan ng free throws dito. It wasn't a shooting foul.
Baseline inbound lang. Felix Corpus, ba? Pinopost yan. Si JL Capulong, nice looking jumper. Just couldn't knock it down.
Rarely do you see a small man trying to post up a big man here in the league.
Octobre, tightly guarded by Corpus. Now it's with Kani. With Gadin in front of him. Hubert Kani with a long three. It will bounce out. Another offensive rebound by the One Bataan Risers. Has had multiple shot opportunities, but they come out empty on that trip.
Bataan's a +5 in the rebounding department in this game.
Gadin will give it up to Chito Jaime. Lost it. Pasig City, normally a team that takes care of the ball, has had multiple turnovers already. 6 turnovers. They finally grabbed the defensive rebound. Jacob Galicia to Warlo Batak. Nice pass. Galicia lays it up and in.
Almost looked very dangerous right there as they were crossing half court. Good thing that Warlo Batak was able to get a little hang time before he got that pass. And it turned to be a good give and go for Pasig City on the break.
I think that's the biggest improvement that he's had, Javi. Yung passing niya, no? Lalo, nakita natin against Ilagan, Isabela, and Mindoro. Those were 2 games where he had double-digit numbers in assists.
Yes.
Fast break the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split-type air conditioners.
Got that ball in stride and then having the presence of mind to give it up to Jacob Galicia, who was already ahead of him that time. Tama ka dyan, Noken. That's really a good observation that you made. I really agree with that. His passing ability has definitely improved. He now sees the game from a different perspective.
Yeah. Nag-slow down na rin yung laro para sa kanya. Chito Jaime, pupukol sa 3. Masyadong matulis. Bola nakuha ni Robbie Darang. Darang putting the Jets on. Receives the pass back from Tutoy Ramirez and fires, scores from downtown.
Huge 3 right there. Galing kay Robbie Darang. Giving it up, relocating to the right corner. You see right here, Ramirez gives it back to his former collegiate foe. 2 guys who have mixed it up together against each other in the collegiate ranks. Now playing beautiful music with each other para dito sa Bataan. This is now a 13-point lead for the Risers.
see here, Javi, how actually number 8 itong Bataan in terms of scoring.
Yes.
And binanggit ko na rin how highly efficient they are to cap off the season, while Pasig City pretty much in the middle ground in terms of statistics.
Yeah, if you're gonna look at the numbers on your screens, these are actually pretty decent numbers in all departments para sa parehong koponan. It really all boils down in this game to which team will be able to play solid defense all throughout. And right now we're seeing Bataan, they're still allowing Pasig City a lot of good looks, a lot of open opportunities. Swerte lang sila, Pasig City hasn't been able to knock down a lot of their shots despite the open looks. And also, they've been giving up a lot of turnovers. This is their 7th already.
Bataan so far in cruise control, up by 13 points. But you've got to remember their regular season matchup way back in May. They met, I think we covered this game, Javi, in Montalban. Bataan had their biggest lead at 17 points in the first half. But Pasig was able to come back with those bunch of frees. Robbie Malalang was still there for them, Chito Jaime as well. And they were able to just will their way through, force overtime, and from there, Chito Jaime was able to bury the big shots to catapult Pasig to that win.
Yeah, that was a crazy game with a crazy finish. Chito Jaime had 23 points in that game. And you mentioned those crucial threes down the stretch. Chito had 6 threes overall in that game. But for me, if you're Pasig City, you have to forget about that game and just focus on what you're having right now here. For one, you don't have Robbie Manalang already, who scored 19 points in that game and basically kept you afloat for the most part of that matchup when Bataan was leading majority of the way. And there are a lot of players also who are not on this squad anymore that played in that game against Bataan. It's now a different situation. You now have to make the most of what you have right now and not think about that victory that you got way back in May.
Itong free throw na ito, atid sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. It's now 33-18. One guy we haven't seen come off the bench for Pasig City are 2 key shooters in Rocky Asidre and Jerome Garcia. Felix Corpus knocks down the free. Cuts the lead down to 12, 33-21.
You're right, that's an interesting move here by Coach Alden Morante to keep 2 of his best shooters on the bench. But I heard that Rocky is not really 100% today. Jerome, I'm not really sure why Coach Aldrin hasn't inserted him yet. But there are games wherein Coach Aldrin sometimes inserts Jerome late in the second quarter or sometimes at the start of the third period. So let's see how this pans out. Maybe we can get an update later on from Mika kung ano ba talaga ang totoong dahilan kung bakit di ba sila pinapasok.
They will review that last play exactly at the halfway point of the second quarter. Bataan up by 12. They have a pushing foul against the one Bataan Risers. It's going to go against Mitchell Minus.
They might have had a case there. Not really much contact down low. Sa taas definitely wala masyado eh.
Felix Corpus hit that game-winning free against Imus, although mayroong controversy doon got away with a travel at the very least. But still, I mean, he's been a key addition during the free agency and trade window for Pasig City.
And no doubt about it, he has given Pasig City a shot in the arm in terms of their offensive production.
Rafi Octobre kicks it out to Tutoy Ramirez. Pobre with 6 on her shot clock, puts up the 3. Can't get that one to fall. Felix Corpus grabs the rebound, and he was also grabbed in the arm by Tutoy Ramirez.
So that means free throws already para sa Pasig City. Actually, parehong team nasa penalty na dito. Still 4 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first half. Might be a good chance for Pasig to trim down this deficit, especially with the clock stop. That will help them gain some momentum heading into the halftime break.
Felix Corpus, a teammate of Alfred Flores and Tutoy Ramirez with the ICC Blue Hawks, making some key baskets here, making the first free throw.
I love how he's just so gutsy in taking shots, especially down the stretch. Usually, you know, when you're a new guy here in the league, you don't really have the confidence to launch shots, especially in endgame situations. But Corpus, he's already shown us, he's already made the game-winning basket here in this season. So di talaga siya takot to make the big baskets.
Pasig City making their run. 8 na lang ang kailangan nilang habulin dito from a high of 15 points. Bataan is in penalty. Another foul given up this time by Hubert Cani.
I'm telling you, the defense has been superb for Pasig in this game. Save for the offensive rebounds that they've given up. I think on the initial shots, they've defended a lot of the possessions of Bataan well here in the first half.
4 minutes and 15 seconds left. A 7-0 run by Pasig City as they cut this lead down to 8. For the second time in 3 days, we are here at the Robert B. Estrella Senior Memorial Stadium in Rosales, Pangasinan. Say hi to our Gixxer fan of the game, born for greatness. Lipo Ken Pangilinan with Javi Palanya at courtside. We have Miss Mika Abesamis. Later we'll see Coach Jerson Cabiltes and the rest of the Pangasinan Heatwaves trying to barge into the playoffs. They'll go up against the Ilagan Isabela 5-star Cowboys.
Imagine that. They were just a few seconds away, a rebound away from gaining the 4th spot in the Northern Division.
Yeah. I mean, that shot by Manday to give the lead was such a gutsy one. As we see, Chris Xavier finally stopped the drought for Bataan as he scores underneath the basket. 35-26. After 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Felix Corpus. He's been aggressive looking for a shot, but the turnaround jumper will not work. Chris Xavier straight away free. It's good.
A little bit late on the challenge there by Mark Montuano. He allowed Chris Xavier to step into that shot. And Chris loves that area on the floor from beyond the arc.
Montuano got fouled. Chris Xavier visibly upset.
The bench though telling him to settle down a bit. Calm down. This is not the time to have the referees call technicals against you, because in a game like this where momentum could quickly shift to the other side with calls like that, you have to remain cool, calm, and collected.
Montuano at the line. Free throws have been a bit of a problem for Pasig City, despite having more attempts.
Oh, umpisa pa lang. Chito already missed 1 out of 3 during their first trip to the free throw line.
Ooh, 2 misses. So, 12 pa rin ang lamang ng Bataan. Robbie Dangang gives it up to Ives Sazon. 3-point shot will pop out. Chris Xavier there for the cleanup job.
So once again, you're able to generate a miss on the initial shot, but there's practically not much resistance on the offensive glass. That ball falls right into the hands of Chris Xavier after that shot attempt by Ives Sazon.
And they increase the gap to 14 points, 40-26 timeout Pasig City. Again, we've talked about this, how these two squads battled it out, and in the end, Pasig City was able to hold off Bataan here in overtime.
That was just crazy shooting from the outside, especially in the end game. Big shots from both Robbie Manalang and Chito Jaime. Chito ended up with 6 threes in that game for the Risers. Oh, sorry, for Tropang Pasig. While Robbie had 3 3-pointers of his own. Jerome Garcia had 4. And they're hoping that that 3-point shot would actually show itself today para sa Tropang Pasig, because they haven't been able to convert a lot from the outside in this game. They've only had 1 3-point make sa laro na to.
1 out of 7. Pasig from 3. Sazon tried to locate Chris Xavier underneath. And it's a turnover against Bataan.
Now we're finally seeing Jerome Garcia on the floor for Pasig City, Ken, with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Trying to give them some shooting. Montuano, top of the key 3. Mintis pa din. Chris Xavier with a rebound.
But Bataan has to be wary, Ken. You know, they're still giving Pasig all these open looks.
Travel committed by Chris Xavier.
At kung ikaw ang Bataan, you don't want to wait for the time na mahulog yung mga tira ng Pasig by giving them all these quality opportunities. Montuano's been getting some open looks from the outside. Chito Jaime as well. Aantayin mo pa ba na gumana yung shooting ng Pasig sa laro na to bago mo sila depensa na maayos?
Algin Gadindo with another daredevil drive, I should say. Another one from the former ICC Blue Hawks.
And drives like this will only help the guys in blue sa laro na to actually have more open looks from the outside. Because now, if you're Bataan, you're gonna have to pick your poison. Are you gonna allow guards like Gadin, the wing player of Pasig, Warlo Batak, to drive inside and score? Or are you just gonna let the shooters of Pasig continuously launch from the outside with open looks?
And that's something that they committed there against Pasig in their game in the regular season. Pasig was misfiring from the outside. Biglang nag-click yung shooting nila Javi na second half, and Bataan simply had no answer to that. And that's something they want to avoid here in this play-in matchup.
Especially in this kind of atmosphere, very important game. This is winner go home. You want to lay all your cards on the table. You want to make sure that you check all the boxes and you do everything in your power. Control the things that you could control to make sure that whatever happens in this game, you won't have any regrets. And seeing this matchup on paper, obviously, Bataan is the highly favored team aside from being the higher ranked squad. They have all the pieces to dominate this game, and yet they're having a hard time pulling away from this very gritty Pasig City team who is playing severely undermanned in every position.
Warlo Batak has struggled here in the first half. Minute and 30 left in the second period. Octobre lines it up. Another 3-point make for the 1 Bataan Risers.
Conversely, if you're Pasig, you also cannot allow open shots like that from a shooter like Rafi Octobre.
This is the biggest lead now for Bataan. Algin Gadin continues to attack.
And he's attacking his senior from ICC.
Gadin will take 2 free throws.
He's been running rings around the defense here in the first half.
Missing the first free throw though. He's become a threat here, Javi.
Oh, yeah.
Nung simula, nangangapa pa siya eh.
Sobra talaga. I remember his first game here. That was in Quezon. Nakalimutan ko lang kung sino yung kalaban nila. No?
Manila yata.
That was a game that we covered. Was it Manila?
O, natalo yata sila dun eh. I think that...
Anyway, that was a game where talagang pressure siya na matindi. Backcourt pa lang.
Yes.
And ang dami niyang turnovers na nako-commit. Ang dami niyang errors na nagagawa. But he was able to adjust. He was able to get himself used to the style of play and the physicality as well.
Nice pass. Eye off the glass and in from Alfred Flores.
It's just one of the many things that Hubert Cani can do at Wizardry with a basketball on full display. Getting it to a smaller guy underneath. Very rarely do you see 2 guards connecting and scoring inside.
Guard to guard passing there.
And all the other big guys were outside the shaded area or just outside that area near the basket. Si Octobre na yung pinakamalapit dun para sa Bataan.
1 Bataan Risers looking sharp at the moment. Free throws have been detrimental to say the least for Pasig City. 10 out of 20.
Free throws, missed layups, turnovers, missed shots from the outside. That has all contributed to Pasig City falling down behind by this big.
Bataan using their final timeout of the half. They're comfortably ahead, 47-30. Again, checking out our play-in bracket here. The loser here will go home, while the winner will await the loser of the game later on between Pangasinan and Ilagan Isabela.
And the winner of that eventual game will make it to the number 8 seed. The winner later on between Pangasinan and Ilagan will be the 7th seed, and they will face the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards in the first round.
I mean, the fun thing about here is all of the teams that are matched up against each other, including the South Division, Javi, lahat naging dikit yung mga laban. Eh?
Tama ka dyan. And that is why this is the most exciting part of our season. It's only going to get better. The quality of games, I assure you, will be down the wire. In my opinion, I think we're not going to see a lot of blowouts dito sa ating postseason.
Hubert Cani, that 3 off the heel. The offensive rebounding has been on point for Bataan today.
29-16 ang rebounding gap ngayon. Kanina 5 lang yan, Ken. But it has bloomed because of the missed box out opportunities para dito sa Pasig City.
Antuano, corner triple will not drop in. Sazon, still enough time. Hubert Cani in stride, lays it up and in. 1 Bataan Risers on a roll. And this is the brand of basketball that we're so accustomed to seeing them, especially in their last few games. Chris Xavier, almost a double-double here in the first half, and has been merciless in torturing the Pasig Bigs. Ives Sazon also came through with a couple of threes. Hubert Cani just dissecting the defense time and time again.
Two of their biggest off-season acquisitions coming into this year, Chris Javier and Hubert Cani, combining with the franchise player in Ives Sazon to help Bataan to this 21-point lead entering the halftime break.
Back in Rosales, Pangasinan for your Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. My name is Mika Abesamis, and right now I am joined by two special guests. Attorney Gary Palmero, of course, of the One Bataan Risers, and team owner of Pasig, walang iba kundi si Boss, Buddy, and Kanado. Magandang hapon, mga Ginoo. Attorney, you know, it's never too late, ano? Sa ganda ng lineup nyo this season. Siyempre, nagpasok pa kayo ng mga magagaling na coaches in the middle of the season, ano? And so far, it has been going well for you. Kumusta ang team, sir?
Sinuwerte lang kami nung last part noong eliminations kasi naka 6-2 kami nung last 8 games namin. Kaya pinaghihirapan nila ito, nag-click yung team, kaya kami nasa play-in na hopefully maging magandang resulta.
At syempre, ang last playoff appearance nyo pa yata, sir, is nung 2022. Kaya talagang excited ang lahat. Meron po ba kayong mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan?
Siguro yung Kamaya Coast family lang, thank you sa suporta ninyo. Kahit ano nangyari, nandito tayo lumalaban.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Gary Palmero of the One Bataan Risers. Sir Buddy, good afternoon, no? I just want to get into your thoughts as to how you feel still being here at this part of this competition.
Well, everybody knows exactly what happened to Pasig. If there is some team or a team that has been tested, I guess it will have to be Pasig. Can you imagine almost 10, 12 games we are always undermanned. For some reason, I have been plagued with injuries. And to think that it's all about my key players. But probably the only team that has become so accustomed to playing with the rest of the remaining players. It has become so abnormal that the abnormal became normal to us. But just the same, that kind of situation, the Pasig was able to adapt. Because if that has been given to another team, I'm pretty sure they have bowed out a long time ago. So the mere fact that I'm here right now talking to everybody, it's a blessing. It's almost a championship for an undermanned team like Pasig. We're always fighting with one hand tied to our backs. And that's the reason why I've been telling my players I cannot ask for more from you guys. I have never seen such a bunch of gritty players. They love the sports, they love Pasig so much that regardless of who is playing, you know, you cannot undermine their fighting spirit, the big heart of everybody, and most especially to my coach. Can you imagine a champion coach like Aldrin Morante playing with a handful of remaining players? That's why I kept telling Coach, I cannot thank you enough. You have done your best, and regardless of what happens, being in this round, we are almost in the championship. And that's why I'm thankful. To all the Pasigueños, we tried our very best regardless of who I have, but we make sure that we will always fight. We may be an undermanned team. We are short of centers, we are short of point guards, we are short of everything, but not in spirit, but not in our hearts. We will always fight. Thank you.
Napakaganda. And of course, from the MPBL, Boss Buddy, we are also very proud no, sa narating ng Pasig sa season na to. Maraming salamat once again, the team owner of the Tropang Pasig, Boss Buddy Encarnado. Magbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
Napaka-importante nito kasi kung tutusin mo, kung wala tayong play-in, out na kami sa playoff. Pero nagkaroon ng pagkakataon, nagkaroon ng play-in, kaya malaking bagay ito. Kaya yung pagkakataon na binigay na chances sa amin, kailangan wag pakawalan yun para at least makapasok ka uli sa playoff. Kaya napaka-importante itong game na to.
El Granada knows a thing or two about being the underdogs and coming up with an upset against the higher ranked teams. Although Bataan, they are in a play-in and they lead by 21 and a half over Pasig City, 51-30. And Javi, we really saw Bataan just pour it on. Simula pa lang, no? Even though Pasig had their moments, they were able to cut the lead down to 7 after Bataan enjoyed a double-digit lead. The Risers finishing off the first half on an 18-4 run to extend their lead to 21 points.
it was just getting better for them as time went on in the first half. Second quarter, they really poured it on after scoring 21 points in the first period. They got 30 in the second quarter and really showcased that sharpness that the coaching staff has longed for them to produce consistently in this season, and this could only be better para sa kanila. But again, they still have to be wary of this Pasig City team, although the team that's severely undermanned. What you gotta do is really try to break down the defense with your passing. Try to tire out yung depensa nitong Pasig City by moving that ball around quickly. Look for the open guy. Look for the shooters that can get open looks, because you have a lot of shot makers on the bench and in the floor.
Bataan not letting up. Josa Nimes entering the fray here. Did not suit up in the first 2 quarters. And a foul will be whistled against Bataan.
It's a little bit of a pity that Josa came into the Pasig City team late in this season. Obviously, he came in still very much out of shape, although he's made some good progress on that as the game went by. Siyempre, makikita mo hindi pa rin naman talaga siya 100% ito si Josa Nimes. Pero pag kondisyon na kondisyon, alam naman natin yung kakayaan ng isang Josa Nimes.
Yeah. Actually, nag-trim down na rin siya from the first time I saw him.
No doubt, yes. Gaganda pa sana yung kondisyon niya if he just had more time on his hands.
But all is not lost for Pasig City. Behind by 22 points. Still a lot of time left here in the second half. Foul will be called against Jamil Gabawan.